From the All-Star Game circuit to the NFL Combine and then Pro Days, the pre-draft process does a great job of sorting out prospects, giving us some players to go back and watch tape on, confirm some things, but also some surprises come April when the draft actually hits. But don't be surprised if Boston College edge Donovan Ezeiruaku was one of the names selected in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft class. Let's dive into the tape and talk about why I believe he should be a first-round pick come April. And one of the big things you're going to see is that when I was scouting him earlier in the season, I wanted to confirm some different things about Donovan because he doesn't necessarily play with the length you always want to see, but he does have glimpses on tape right here. You see him against the tight end number 6 right here. He's going to come down and actually use his length to be able to stack, extend, peek, and find the football. So right here, he comes down again. I think he's better from a 2-point stance, but he can put his hand in the ground, rush from a 4, rush from a 2. I'd like to see him do a little bit more 3-point stance, just to see how he explodes off the football. At the Combine, his explosion metrics weren't fantastic, but they weren't awful either. They're more middle of the pack. That's okay, though. You want to see him get off the ball and then explode into the blocker right there. Again, good hand location. You see he moves with him, extends with his hands up through, and then he's going to find that football right there. So he uses that left hand. He comes off it with his right hand. He locates the football, pulls through, and extends, and then he's able to close on the football. You want to see him use that length far more often, specifically because what he does is indicative of a player that doesn't have the 34-inch arms that he measured in at. So, again, we want to see him do more of that. And part of the problem is right here. You see, even though the run's not coming directly to him, you want to see him take the outside away, hit the edge, set a hard edge, and use his inside hand to extend, right? Instead, you see both hands kind of come across, and he's more trying to peek inside and locate the football outside instead of getting his fundamentals. Get inside the chest of that tackle, extend with your left arm, and then locate, all right? We don't want to see all of this where your hands kind of get caught up in the middle and then you can get moved a little bit here and there from some of these bigger offensive tackles. So I would like to see him play with more of his length, learn how to use that a bit more, because I do think that what we see from him on a down-to-down basis against the run is far more knifing and trying to get inside the backfield, which to an extent will yield some tackles for loss, but fundamentals in the run game are going to be very, very important come NFL time. But like I said, he is a guy who will play on the edge and then knife around. And what I like about Boston College, and really what we've seen a lot from college football over the past few seasons, is that they give some real outside support in run plays. So they're going to have some pressure coming off the left side there, some help, as you will. And so Ezeiruaku can kind of stab to the outside and then knife inside, which again is what he wants to do. You see how the tackle is already off kilter. He looks like he backs out of the play. Obviously, he wants to get off the ball and then come down around you with the ball going the opposite way. But he gets inside, establishes his left arm underneath the tackle, and he's able to use that more of like a crowbar where he knifes it underneath and then pulls through and under and then gets that inside leverage. So right here, really nice job. Again, hips down, pad levels down. He uses that left hand to rip underneath and stay in that inside leverage with the help off the edge there to force the running back outside. And then you see the ball come out. Obviously, he didn't force the fumble, but what you have is those reactionary plays where you make the running back have to make a decision, and then you end up with a play like that, either if it's tackle for loss or you end up something different happens with surprises. So overall, what we see from Donovan, again, this time more of a 2-point stance, again off that right-hand side of the defense, left side of the offensive line. He's a very good reactionary-based player. This one is not so much knifing as it is understanding what's happening. We got pistol formation, running back in the backfield, and you've got an extra offensive lineman on this side. So you figure they want to beef up this side and run to the outside. Perfectly okay, because Donovan does a great job of reading the leverage, right? You see how the extra offensive lineman explodes off the ball to his left. This is what you see from Donovan, who again, eyes in the backfield are going to see body language from the offensive players come this way. So again, we got ball coming this way as well. So Donovan, once again, just a really nice job of putting his foot in the ground, swim around, and disposing of that guy into the dirt, essentially, by having a quick reaction time. So those reaction-based plays that he can make in the run game translate to the pass game as well. The swim move is there, rip, counters, all those things happen. So right here, again, nice job of then getting down the line, He took a little bit of an inside step towards the running back, gave up a little bit more of the outside, but again, you've got help to the outside, so I'm totally okay with that. And then again, it translates to the passing down situations where you see the reaction time where he's able to create some pressure in the backfield. Now, this time, the quarterback for SMU, Jennings, does a great job of getting out of the pressure. But what I like about this is that he is doing a fantastic job of attacking half of that tackle. He's going to essentially divide, or not, but really split that tackle down the center, attack inside first. Watch how he reacts to the inside pressure. So here, you see what he's going to do is he's going to explode off the edge and attack that inside shoulder of the tackle, force him to react based off of his intention right here. Again, bull, like he's coming right in here, and they might try to stunt, right? That's kind of the intention. You see he's going to come inside, but then what he does is based off of this inside foot right here, tackle's going to drop his inside foot back, and then you see the reactionary move from Donovan. Again, there it is. Boom. He sticks his left foot in the dirt, two-hand swipe around, and then he corners. He's got very good cornering ability. The difference between a corner and a bend are one in just how you get down the line. So right here, instead of, bending around and coming this way, right, where you see him go up and around the arc, when you win to the outside, this is not a position a tackle ever wants to be in, but he's going to get down the line more on a straight path. And that's the difference between, bending around the edge and then getting down the line. Once you have won, you're able to corner right there. So two different things, and he's able to corner, get down the line very quickly. I think that's one of the things he does very well in terms of reaction-based winning. Body language, he sees that tackle try to drop inside and then halt, try to anchor because he figures speed to power is coming, and then he's able to come across and react and move his body in those different ways. And that showed up, in his sub 7-second 3-cone time, which was the best among defensive ends, and his 20-yard shuttle at 4.19 seconds, which was also the best among defensive ends. So the short area movement skills, the ankle flexion, and that at those quick area movements really showed up, not in the testing, but also on the field, right, like we see right here, where that cornering comes down. He's able to win to the outside, this time from a different platform. He can win straight up along the arc too. He doesn't necessarily need to attack inside and go outside, but he can just win straight up right here. Get a cross chop from the inside hand, and then he just corners and gets down the line, gets the sack on the Missouri quarterback there. So we got two different ways that he can win on the outside with just his intention, his skills, right? He's got this outside leverage. Again, he's going to come out here, cross chop, and then boom. It's still more of an inside attack, right? It's not necessarily as direct as going towards the B gap, but you do see how he's going to attack more to the body, right? So it's not necessarily inside attack. It's more straight to the center, but then cross chop with that inside hand, and then use that little hop step, right? Use that at the same time to create some momentum so he can win to the outside and create that pressure and then get towards the sack. So right there, you see two different ways that he can use his technique, his footwork, and then that little short area quickness to win on the outside with different intention moves. Now, this goes back to his run game as well. We want to see him use that length more effectively in the pass rush as well. Guys that have that speed to power that can bend typically use it and then extend with the long arm, right? We see the left arm go in and then they bend around the edge. This time his arm never really extends. That's one thing that I really love him to add to his arsenal, is using that length more effectively. If you can extend, you're going to prevent tackles from being able to get inside you as a rusher. And that's one of those areas that you see this come in where he's able to he's snatched a little bit easier because that arm does not generate enough power to move the tackle off of his spot so he can then get around the edge. Instead, he's more leaning into that tackle instead of creating physical power. So you want to see that left arm come in, extend, and see the offensive tackle kind of have to absorb that power, and he never really does. He more just kind of has to move his feet down, and then he just pulls him down to the ground. So using that length more effectively, that again, he does have, it shows up in spurts on tape, but then we see the measurements at 34-inch completely at the combine. That's what you really want to see from him. But when he does have that speed to power and that extension, he has multiple different ways to sequence. Now, for those who don't know, sequencing is where you set up your pass rush for later in the game. So early on, let's just assume early on in the game, you see Donovan just kind of winning or trying to win off the edge. Boom, with speed, power, bend. He's just trying to get up to the outside and win off of athleticism. So then later in the game, he comes in with this one right here where he attacks to the outside and then he sequences his hand, right? He goes a little bit inside, boom, right? He gives a little jab step to the inside and then tries to swipe around and then rip that hand underneath and he's able to win. So the ball comes out quickly there to the running back into the flat. But that's how you sequence different plays. Or even like we saw earlier, where he attacks inside, maybe he comes across, maybe he attacks inside, maybe he attacks inside, and he just continues to try to get that the tackle off of his spot, off his game, thinking a stunt is coming. But instead, you see that jab step to the inside again, boom, right there. Just move him inside, create a little bit more of a soft edge, right? Just that soft shoulder. You want to make him give you that soft shoulder. So there it comes with that quickness to the outside, hands up underneath, and then he just takes his hand away, right? Moves it underneath instead of the swipe through, and then you see how he's able to rip through. And then right later in the same game, he can do something a little bit different while still winning on the outside. This is where that speed bend comes through, and you see it in his game. This is that coveted ghost move. You don't see a lot of guys able to pull it off all the time because it's not an easy thing to do. But that's where we see the sequencing come in again, where you have that length, he can put it inside the tackle's chest. But this time, instead of going straight to speed to power, he goes in, arm comes down. This is exactly what you want. He bends right up underneath it. This is how the ghost move works, right? Hands are now swiping it or trying to stab at nothing, essentially, on Donovan Ezeiruaku, and he's able to dip underneath it and use that cornering ability to get down the line to the quarterback. Those are the things that I believe separate him in terms of pure pass rush tools among this class. He has one of the most complete repertoires, and it's not necessarily about having, the best repertoire in your bag. It's about how you can sequence them, because you can have so many tools at your disposal but not know how to use them. Countering comes with time as well. I think he's going to have all of that at his disposal as well, so he's able to close right there and again get that sack. So these things, having a tool bag, having a pass rush acumen, all of them can be useful if you can't sequence them, and if you start giving things away to tackles, they pick up on what you're doing. And that's why when you have all of these different things at your disposal, being able to mix them up, go inside, go outside, change direction as quickly as he does, and then get to different moves all in that same time span in less than 3 seconds to be able to get to a quarterback. That's what's important about having a true pass rush tool bag. So Donovan Ezeiruaku has some work to do as a run defender, and using his length more adequately. That will still come with time as well, I think. Getting into the NFL, he measured in 6'2" and a half with nearly 248 pounds. He didn't run his 40, so I think he put on some of that weight. I think he needs to put on just a little bit more and get acclimated to moving around with that extra weight to be able to use that speed to power. But overall, very good player. He's got a really great fundamental pass rush base. He'll help you a little bit with knifing, getting some tackles for losses, but honing that technical aspect, setting the edge more, being a true run defender on the edge, I think will come with a little bit of time and patience, and I think he's got all the tools to succeed at the next level. So this is Donovan Ezeiruaku, edge out of Boston College, and I do believe he's a first-round draft pick come April. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of one of the most complete pass rushers in the 2025 NFL draft class. If you're new to the TDN YouTube page, please hit that sub button right now, hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.